community producer.
Hi, I'm Wallace Shawn. Welcome to a whole new season of Mass After Dark.
Now. Hi, welcome to Mass After Dark. I hope everybody's fired up. We got a great show tonight. I hope everybody's in a good mood like I am. For the main part of our show, we're actually going to have the great Riki host, as usual. Jason can't make it because he's in a state of confusion. But first, let's start off by just reading a few of these funny stories that happened the last week. In Florida, a Florida fisherman was recovering Friday after being stabbed with the bill of a swordfish during a fight with another man. That sounds pretty interesting. Another one is apparently in London, they actually celebrate once a year National Slackers Day. And British workers were urged to do nothing on Friday to mark this country's second National Slacker Day, although a poll released that Thursday suggested that many think they do too little enough already. Let's see what else happened. Apparently in Tokyo, keepers at a Japanese zoo packed with children scrambled Friday to subdue a escaped polar bear. But it was actually just a drill, and they didn't tell anybody just to see how it would go over. They actually had to net the bear and tranquilize it, and it just turned out to be somebody in a suit. It was just all a big act. And I can see right now the great Riki is in the control room making faces at me. Let's see what else. A lot of people know that Bush was in China recently, and he travels around apparently in a limousine that they actually fly out there because I guess they don't want to trust rent a limousine like a local service. And he actually got a flat tire while he was there in China, and had to use his backup limo, if you know what I mean. Apparently in Athens, in Greece, on Thursday, officials put a ban on all electronic games from arcades. If you can believe that, no arcade games in the entire country, because apparently that there's a lot of illegal gambling that's used along with the games. So they wanted to put an end to that. Let's see what else. Oh, and finally, here's a good story. General Electric has come out with a new Jewish oven. This is real. It's a for the Sabbath. Basically, as you know, during the Sabbath, to observe it, you're not allowed to light or put out a flame, and you're not allowed to operate electricity. So this oven actually will run for the full 24 hours and not allow you to turn it on or off. It'll just do everything automatically. And I guess you just set a timer or something. So I just thought that was kind of interesting that it actually has a Sabbath mode. I guess we'll go to the great Riki, who will take it from there. Great Riki.
Well, thank you, Michael. And we are here. I am so glad to be here for the new season of the amazing Mass After Dark. How about that new entrance, everyone? Very, very interesting. There was Michael.
I got that here already. That's awesome, isn't it?
You are fast, speedy as all get-go. And there is someone who's, well, not speedy when it comes to ever winning an actual tournament, but really that's not what she's all about, is it? That I believe that's Monica Hingis, who we can actually see the face of.
Yes.
And we can see the cheeks, sort of one Anna Kournikova. Hey, Mike, you know what you didn't do?
What?
You didn't get a little further into that swordfish story. And I just think people ought to understand that
I printed it out there. So
you know what? I've got it right here. And to begin with, they were fighting about something. One guy hit the other with a beer bottle, at which point the offended party went back to their house, got the swordfish sword, and stabbed it into the other person. Surprise of all surprise, Mike, and I'm really shocked you didn't point this out. Police said both people were drunk. We didn't need the beer bottle there either. They also said, and this might be the funniest line of all, Mike, we don't see this kind of thing very often. Somebody stabbed with a swordfish sword. How often can that happen?
This is where we could have Dan Kennedy say, well,
the stupid shall be punished, and of course, this was us angling for a story.
yes, it was.
Now, who's that?
That's also
Oh, that's her. And I noticed she's not looking happy.
This is after I broke up with her.
No, you know what that is? She's on the tennis court. Therefore, she's not happy because one thing she tends not to do is win.
Ooh. Here's her.
Hey, do you know how many tournaments she's won, Mike, in her entire history? Not major tournaments, just any tournament?
No, I don't.
That would be 0.
Really?
Yes.
She sucks.
That is, well, I'm not sure about that in other contexts, but on the tennis court, that certainly is true.
Huh.
And what's your line for this picture, as if I need to ask?
Oh, this is when they both found out that they can go out with me.
Mike, in yet another.
And there's another one where they're discussing what they're going to do with me. And this is them later doing what they're going to do with me.
Uh-huh.
Here's a picture of Jesus.com.
Jesus on a book bag. There's nothing that says religion
But what
better
is he
than
doing,
that.
though?
Well, my guess is that book bag hides some indiscretion by a Catholic priest.
He's
Anyway.
actually flipping you off.
Could he be? You know.
Oh, this has been... I'm going to show you this picture. It's been very popular on the internet for the last, 3 weeks. This was taken before the Olympics started. This was the controversial uniforms that...
Uh-huh. What exactly are the imprints there?
Happy faces.
Happy. That's really cute. Is that another picture of her, but with her hair in front of her face?
Yeah, the way she belongs. There's your girlfriend.
Is that Mariah Carey?
Yes.
Yeah, I have very strong feelings about Mariah Carey.
Both you and Richard Simmons.
Mm-hmm. Please never again put my name in the same sentence with Richard Simmons, or for that matter, Mariah Carey. And whose do they belong to?
I don't know. Here's Brittany. I watched this the other night on HBO, actually. It was pretty good. She gets down with the audience, but she might want to just try to keep her mouth shut in the future.
Yeah, well, her singing is the one problem with most of her talent.
Testing.
Are you the one feeding back?
Yeah.
Don't you think you could stop that? You know, Mike, the one thing you failed to mention about the National Slacker Day
Yes.
is they, upon deciding that there was they had little enough to do already, the British people have decided that the best way of getting around this is, instead of calling it National Slacker Day, to call it American Worker Day.
Ouch. Yeah, you know what's funny is I brought those papers out with me and I forgot the one with the punchlines on it. But it didn't really matter.
Yeah, believe me, it didn't matter. You did a monologue that would have made Pat Sajak proud.
Yeah, whatever happened to him?
He sucked. That was bad. He was not very good. He was pretty awful, actually. Right along the lines of the same quality that Chevy Chase was always able to bring to it.
What about Magic Johnson?
That show was so bad it was great. The best show he ever had was the one with Howard on it.
Oh, that's right, and he trashed him.
Oh, but he'd been trashing him for months beforehand. I failed to
know.
throw these far enough. Can we get something other than Britney up there?
Okay. While I'm doing that...
I feel like Roman Polanski when someone of that age is on the screen.
National Slacker Day was launched by a clothing and record company called Onkus to remind people that life does not revolve around the office and persuade Britons to stay in bed and relax on February 22nd, which is also George Washington's birthday, which, I might add, originally when he was born, was actually February, that's a new month.
That's Mike's new language.
Yes. February 11th, because it had to do with the fact that they switched over officially to the Georgian calendar. Do you know anything about that?
Are you sure it's not the Julian calendar?
It was switching from the Julian to the Georgian calendar.
Why?
I don't know, because the rest of the world did it and they were the last ones to move, believe it or not.
Same theory as metrics?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Another piece of information that I'm sure a lot of people that saw the beginning of the show are wondering who that guy was. That was my father, Wallace Shawn, famous actor and whatnot.
If people point out that that's inconceivable, would you feel bad?
My dad likes figuring out like mathematical probabilities and things like that. And after the Super Bowl, because we're Super Bowl champs, he
New England Patriots. Your New England Patriots.
The most improbable score at the end of the fourth quarter of
I believe
any
the phrase
NFL
is improbable,
game.
Mike.
What?
The phrase is improbable.
What did I say?
Unprobable.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
It's September already.
Yep.
Anyways, apparently the answer is 4-4.
Yes, but I have already declared that that is inaccurate.
Why?
Because the Super Bowl can't end in a tie.
I said at the end of the fourth quarter.
Whether you said that or not, you know, actually what you actually just said was the most improbable score. You did not delineate that any further than that.
It's not necessarily the final score because of that, but that's why I say at the end of the fourth quarter. Obviously, they go into overtime. But under regulation rules in the NFL...
Then it's very easy to determine the most improbable final score.
Which it would be?
4-2.
No, I asked him that.
And what did he claim the most improbable final score would be?
Because it's much more improbable to have two safeties on both sides.
Yes, but it's not a final score.
The question wasn't the final score. I said the score at the end of the fourth quarter.
Actually, I don't think you actually said that until you further restated it after I said that the final 4-2.
If you were going by NCAA rules, the answer would be 10-1.
Please explain that.
And if you could explain, but you at home that is, why it's 10-1, I'll give you a free T-shirt.
How do you get 1 point in a football game?
1 point? You can score if the other team was trying for a field goal or something and you ran the touchdown, but you're not allowed to do that in NFL, but you can do it in the NCAA. There's your buddy.
Yeah, actually, you can run back a blocked field goal in the NFL.
No, apparently you can't. You're wrong. I'm right. I've accepted it.
Well, all right. Let's see. You've been really following football for how long, Mike?
So, what else happened in the news lately?
Okay, we're not going to get into this debate because you're a little bit concerned that you might be completely wrong on the running back.
No, I have
now, it might,
a lot of faith in my father.
What it might be is that in the NCAA you can't run it back, and if you run it back you only get 1 point. I'm not sure of that. That sounds wacky, though.
Well, he confirmed
what's the most unlikely?
Randini, which is greater than the great Riki any day.
Okay, well, when we find out I'm right, we'll go from there. See, we're going to have to go back now, play earlier in the show, and find out if when you first stated your final score or your score
Well, I asked you the question before the show,
and you asked it wrong the first time you asked it then as well.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how you asked it.
But
Michael, it doesn't matter how you asked it before we were on the air. It's once we're on the air that matters. This is what's preserved for prosperity. Posterity?
Would you like to hear some notable quotes this last week?
Sure.
All right. Tonight was probably my greatest skate ever. Going into it, I really didn't think I had a chance for a medal, let alone a gold medal, because I know that the competition is really difficult here. Who was that said that?
The gold medalist, Sarah Hughes.
16 after winning the gold medal. on the Winter Olympics. Here in
See-
the greatest country of all, the United States of America.
Did you
Except
hear?
for that French guy that screwed up that whole judge thing. Do you want to talk about that? Because I know
Yeah.
you watched it or something.
It was a French woman, actually. She has since claimed that she was not pressured just recently. However, did you hear what the Russians are now doing?
Yeah, well, I heard that there was rumors of them boycotting the Olympics.
They are
Like, that
threatening to
makes
pull
any
out of the
sense.
Olympics unless the figure skating from last night is changed to a double gold.
A double gold?
Right, so that their skater gets the gold because they believe the judging was biased.
So, you kids at home, you should now know that if you're not happy with the results,
Whine.
whine and cry
Threaten to go
about
home
them
with your
until you
ball.
get what you want.
I do believe that you, that's Mima, back again. I believe that you will find, however, that they aren't going to get anything out of this. But that's not all, Mike. They also want some other speed skating or some sort of slalom thingy. I don't know exactly what the event was, but something else screwy happened, and they want that replayed. And they also want no North American official on the hockey game tonight between Russia and the United States.
They've got
If they do not have all of
issues.
those things, they are supposedly going to pull out of the final ceremonies. And furthermore, made the claim that without Russia, the Olympics doesn't exist. Something along those lines. The claim was actually more ridiculous than that, if you want to hear that. But I can't recall the actual statement. But you want to know what the New Yorker printed?
What?
Relatively reputable magazine, wouldn't you suggest?
Yeah.
They printed a story citing that there was, you know, after September 11th, for that 3 days when the only planes in the air were military planes,
Yes.
there was one other plane in the air.
Which was?
A Saudi-owned jet that went about the five big cities in the States picking up Osama bin Laden's relatives to get them out of the country.
That's ridiculous.
The New Yorker printed it. They had to have had facts. You want to know another interesting
No,
little
it's the
tidbit?
New Yorker.
Well, what about the New
Have you
York
ever
Times?
met anybody from New York?
What about the New York Times?
What about it? It's not the New Yorker.
Okay, well, the New York Times printed a little informative story detailing the first person or the backer of when
Ew.
George Herbert Walker Sr. bought his first oil company.
Uh-huh.
Do you know who his financial backer was?
Oliver North?
Osama bin Laden's father.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I just get the slight impression that you just don't like George Bush.
Well, there's no slight impression there. I despise the man, but that's not really the issue here. I find it
wish
very
Jason
interesting.
was here, because I really couldn't care less either way, to be honest with you.
Somebody did bring up Michael Moore, the one from the movie. What's the movie? Roger and Me.
Yep, that's an excellent movie, by the way.
Yes, he was on The Daily Show last night. Also pointed out something else. They had 200 FBI agents investigating the Monica Lewinsky Clinton thing.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't they have been better served really doing something for national security, like looking into the terrorist aspects?
No, they wouldn't, because Clinton went and kept them busy with stupid shit like that.
Well, Clinton didn't have the FBI agents investigating him.
Yes, they did.
He had the FBI agents investigating him with Lewinsky.
Yep.
May have been under the administration, but they are in a separate thing. They were ordered. They were ordered by the. I'm not questioning that. They were ordered by the. I believe by the Congress, by Kenneth Starr, and that whole investigation to investigate that. No, I didn't say that was Bush's fault. Bush doesn't enter into that at all, directly at least.
I think you're saying it was Bush's fault.
But I didn't say it was Bush's fault. We segued from Bush into that discussion mostly because of the misuse of 200 FBI agents who would be much better served creating terror and death on reservations as they did in the mid-'70s.
Back to Michael Moore.
Okay.
In recent years, I was a big fan of his movie and everything. I watched it on PBS of all things, and I thought it was great. But I remember he really did pin a lot of GM's downfall on GM itself, and I honestly think that it was really more of a matter of the changing market and their just inability to adapt to it. And it's something that all the automakers in the United States
in a
have.
sense, doesn't that end up being their fault?
Well, it's not like they...
Fault is a weird word to use there, but I mean it's the dinosaurs not being able to adapt, isn't it?
Yeah. He seemed to be seem to feel that they really just planned this whole thing out right, and they knew exactly what they were doing. And I think it wasn't anything like that. I think it was just their inability to adapt to the economic and the environmental restrictions that were being put on the cars in the late 70s, and the new Japanese auto market, where they were just producing a better product for a lower price.
And you know how you get around that?
What?
You tax the hell out of the better product with a lower price to make the prices more competitive.
That's right. That's why everybody in Japan drives BMWs. Figure that one out.
They do?
When I was there, they did.
No, everybody?
Just about.
No,
or those
man,
big
they got
white
tiny
Chevy
little
trucks.
cars. Haven't you seen the tiny little cars they drive? Those aren't BMWs. Those are like half a Yugo. They're a pregnant Matchbox.
What?
I'm serious. Most of the cars there are tiny.
Email us at mike@massafterdark.com.
Oh, it's all about you, isn't it?
That's right. Jason's not here tonight, so you can screw him. Or you can email the great Riki at thewrestlingscene@hotmail.com.
About Mass After Dark?
Yes.
Can I have Riki at Mass After Dark?
I suppose. You can also have anything at thewrestlingscene.com.
That's right.
So I haven't tested it yet, but if you fans out there want to beat us to it, go ahead.
Why not? That's in front of my head. It's causing me a headache.
That's
not
me, actually.
That's right, that is you.
I opened the show.
By the way, the time is correct on that.
What's wrong with the time?
The time on the running time is absolutely accurate.
I know. We've got about 8 minutes left.
Isn't that excellent?
Yes. Time sure goes slow.
You know, you
We've
need
got
to go to
nothing.
29:59, because if you don't, there's probably a PSA we can stick on the end.
It's not going to happen. I don't do PSAs.
I
I'm
know.
all content, baby. I'm
They're
not
all
a slacker.
incontinence, at least. Yankees suck. The Rams weren't all that great either, were they?
Yeah.
You know, dynasties
suck.
tend to win more than one. If you don't need to win to be a dynasty, then the Bills are the only team to ever appear in 4 straight Super Bowls. And that makes the Bills a dynasty.
Really?
I would think.
4 straight?
4 straight Super Bowls. True, they lost all 4, but it's getting there that's the most difficult thing.
You know, I'm really thirsty. Where are we going to eat after this?
Probably at a restaurant.
Okay. That's the perpetual motion machine that some Irish guy built in his basement.
Really.
Notice the lawn chair. That's part of it. It's actually
do you know there are plans on the internet, and you might understand why this is significant to me. There are actual plans on the internet for building your own hobbit hole.
Really?
I'm absolutely serious. Looks cool as
That's
heck.
kind of funny. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
I can't tell you exactly where I found it. It was probably on lordoftherings.net, and from there an attachment, but I can't tell you exactly where.
All right, well, let's see. Bag N2. Huh?
There you go, that's it. Bag N2.
Oh, wow, they've got pictures of it?
They
You
have
wanna see some of these
schematics, they
pictures?
have the equipment to use. Yeah, throw them up. The
Uh,
world is weird.
It's going to take me a moment to do it.
Well,
I'll
we
read
got
some of
7
it.
minutes.
I'm going to put these in Token Retsuden.
Do you have to?
Yeah.
Do you know how big that file is?
Oh, I got a big picture of it. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, it's going to look like I'm sitting in a hobbit hole.
Yeah.
Shock of all shocks.
Well, the one I got doesn't really look like that, though.
Oh, well, what's wrong with you then? Pretty cool idea for a backyard thing, though, isn't it? And as long as you got digging
well, I
permits.
could see you doing it.
Well, you certainly could.
Let's see. Oh, here's a good picture of it. This is pretty high res.
Not a dry, dank, sandy hole.
That's one of the pictures.
Or a wet, mushy hole filled with the ends of worms. This was a hobbit hole. And that means comfort.
Okay, we have seen the movie, and now you don't know which movie I'm talking about. We'll click here. After seeing The Fellowship of the Ring, you have probably fantasized about living in a hobbit hole and lazing about in the
I wouldn't
shade.
say that that's the case.
I
but
know I have.
I bet you have. You're figuring the hobbit women are just the right height.
What's that? Did you just make a joke at me?
Nope. You had a hunch that I did, though, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Ass.
Are there any other pictures that actually show what it is as opposed to look like nothing? Because I'm sitting
Well,
in the
you know,
middle
it's
of it.
funny. This guy's webpage is messed up.
Well, that's because he didn't go to MikeCunningham.com.
.name. You can apparently get these giant concrete pipes.
Are they concrete or like PVC?
Pipe. No, see, this guy's stupid.
Well, Mike, just because he can have a hobbit hole built doesn't mean he has all the technical wizardry that you have.
Is that a hidden dig at me?
No, absolutely, actually not.
I was really paying attention on it.
That's all right. That's pretty much how this show goes, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, you've left the shot on me and haven't put your own mug on the TV for about 3 or 4 minutes, and that's unusual. Whoa!
And now we're switching to me because I haven't been on 3 to 4 minutes.
And there's the pipe.
Yeah, apparently you can use those pipes. Now, were those from the movie itself?
I don't know how they made it exactly, but they did actually make one.
Did you find this by typing into a search engine, build your own hobbit hole?
No, on lordoftherings.net, when this was first coming out, they actually had an attachment, a big news story about it, or something like that. No, I did not look for building my own hobbit hole. I'd rather just get a car that runs.
Oh, here, I got a floor plan if you'd like to see that.
Why not? Can you put it on, like, on top of me and so that people can actually see it?
Sure.
Put it on as a full-page graphic?
It's going to be daring.
You are daring. Yeah, that works.
Look at that.
Isn't that something?
That's, well, he's got his freaking thing. Why is it called Bag End? Is that like a play on words or something?
No, that's the name of Bilbo's home, is Bag End.
Bag End. Why?
I don't know.
That's crazy. It looks
It's
pretty
on
cool.
Bagshot Row. It's Bag End.
What do you
Must be
suppose
the
he
last
uses
one
the
at
garage
the top of the
for?
hill? Well, the garage would be for a modern convenience, not for a hobbit.
What was that?
A modern convenience. This isn't for someone in Middle Earth. This is for you out there. Build your own hobbit hole. Don't try to do it in Plymouth, or else no peace will be made.
You'll have to clear it with the planning board.
That's what you absolutely would.
Not that they don't do a good job.
Now,
In
let
fact,
me just see if we could get these as horns.
the building inspector, I must say, on a personal note, is even nicer, and we'll leave it at that.
The building inspector?
Building inspector.
Oh, yeah?
I think he's related to Adele Manfredi.
Really?
Yeah. His last name is Manfredi. I can't remember his first name.
Well, every Manfredi in the world is, of course, related to Adele Manfredi,
That's right.
the assistant town moderator of the fine and noble town of Plymouth, Massachusetts.
And let's not forget the town moderator himself.
Mr. F. Stephen Trifletti?
Yes. I wonder what the F stands for.
I wonder if it's impertinence or information.
Show's over.
It is. Is it?
Hey, you know what? Well, actually, it's over in about a minute and a half. But
Well, we better get it to that end, or else there's going to be room for PSAs.
I hope everybody gets to see the Rotary auction coming up in a few weeks, or if this is a rerun that's on in like June, forget it.
Yeah, the Rotary auction, which does a lot of good work. I forget exactly what charity stuff goes to, but they raise a lot of money, give it out, and it's going to be, what, March 9th and 10th?
Yeah.
Right here
5th and
at
6th.
PAC TV.
That's right.
No, it's the 9th and 10th.
Oh, okay.
5th and 6th
You-
of
you
April, our
actually-
Plymouth Town meeting. I
Is
like
it?
that you did that. Yes, it is.
Wow,
That's
I'm gonna
really
have a busy
cool.
week. Yeah, that's the great Riki collage of girls.
Yes, minus Takako.
Oh, yeah. Is that Takako?
No, that's Manami in another pose.
Oh.
Takako's got one more, but Manami can go up somewhere. Get
Well,
Nemo
I gotta
repeated.
put the credits up now.
Well, then put
dude.
the credits up.
But
Thank you for joining us tonight on Mass After Dark. But what?
oh, I'd just like to give thanks to Apple Tracks for that wonderful theme. I just didn't make the thing. I hope everybody liked that new opening.
And thanks to Wallace Shawn for his appearance.
That's right. Thank you.
And good night, everybody.